Okay, so I have to call out JD's bullshit again. Like, no, we still have We had TVs when I was in prison, and I was in there after he was. I went in 2014. He went in got out in whenever he said 2010 or whatever. We were watching things like Alaskan Bush People, Amish Mafia, Street Outlaws, Alaskan Gold Rush. What else? Deadliest Catch. We get all sorts of channels, like movie channels. Like we had movie channels where we could watch The Matrix. We had the History Channel. We had the channel with the first 24 on it. We had every day in the morning we had ABC on before breakfast. And then during the afternoon after lunch, we always before lunch and after dinner and right around count time for dinner when we were on our bunk for quiet time, we had CNN on. And as for the weight piles, I've already debunked that. I showed you in my other video. Like it straight up says on the DOC website for Oregon itself that there are weights for people to use. And they didn't stop giving out cigarettes because of fires. The exact explanation was, and this is from an older inmate who had been down multiple times when I was in there, who was in there when they still had cigarettes, straight up said it was because a federal law got passed that you could not smoke inside buildings anymore because of a lawsuit that somebody brought, which is true. That's why you can't smoke in bars anymore, is because you have to be within something like 10 feet of any building if you're going to smoke. And as I don't know about the conjugal visits, I know that there was this one inmate who was a lot older than me. He hadn't been down since the late 80s, been down his whole life. He was close to his 50s, revolving door. But he straight up said that we traded the TVs for the conjugal visits. So basically said you can have conjugal visits or you can have TVs. And what did the inmates choose? They chose the TVs. And you can also get small TVs off commissary right now because they're gouging the inmates. The bigger TV is $400. But back when I was in there, that TV was only $175, $200. And then the small mini TV on commissary was $125 to $135. And then on top of it, when they have the TVs in the day room, they have these little devices that are hooked up to the TV. And when I first got to D Ridge, I was like, why are people listening to music while they're watching TV? It makes no sense. And then this lifer in it with the first name of Ricky, he straight up said, no, dude, that's how you listen to the TV. And I'm like, oh, so you let me borrow his headphones and his radio, because you have to have a radio to listen to the TV. You tune into the radio station the TV's tuned to, and you can hear the TV. So that's how we watch TV. Yeah, you get MP3 players on there, and apparently now, from what my cousin said, my other cousin's currently incarcerated at Two Rivers. He went to the hole the first time at Columbia River, early last year. He went to the hole for playing somebody's Nintendo Switch. Apparently they've got Nintendo Switches now, but he might just be confusing that for some generic tablet. They can play games, I'm not sure, but I don't think my cousin would lie about that, so they might just have Nintendo Switches in Oregon prison now. But they've also got tablets that just came in right after I left. And they've got MP3 players, and they got this little kiosk at OSCI in the indoor gym you can go to, and you can download music for $1.99 per song, or you can send emails to other people through the inmate email. And then at Deer Ridge, they had physical video calls for Telmate in the corner. You could go on there and go to the video call for Telmate and video chat with people for money, of course, obviously, because they have to tax everything in prison. But anyways, yeah, so there's a lot of stuff he says that isn't true. And one thing I'll say about minimum is in the morning when you're on yard, that's when, if you're not a sex offender, you want to work out, because otherwise if you're working out in the afternoon, then sex offenders are going to be working on the weight pile. Physical child molesters and serial rapists will be working on yard, getting stronger. And even at minimum, even at medium, depending on if you have a brother or a family member in a gang, they can put in a good word for you, or you're just physically bigger than everybody else, then they ain't gonna fuck with you. Like, there was this dude named, like, the Power Raper, otherwise known as the Brutal Rapist. This dude was like 6'8" and 300 pounds, and like they sent 6 of the baddest gang members on the freaking yard into this dude's cell, and they all got thrown out and sent to the infirmary after getting the dog shit beat out of them. And he literally came out of his cell, pointed at the shot caller, and was all like, "Send your next 6 in. The same thing will happen to them." And so they sent the guard, or they sent another gang member over to his friggin' cell, and he's like, "We ain't fucking with you no more." And they made him his own friggin' row at Snake River. Like, they didn't have sex offender rows because at Two-Side, so they literally made him a row for him to sit at. And they would let him use the phones, the TV in the day room, work on weight pile, you name it. And then, like, if you're like a native or a paisa, then your car's politics are completely different than whites, and you're just blanket allowed to walk yard and work on the weight pile anyways, regardless of your charges. So, like, he lies about a lot, and you cannot believe it at all. Anyways, thanks, YouTube. I'll catch you later.